Hello, friends. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating world of cattle ranching in the United States. The U.S. is home to more than 700,000 cattle ranchers, with the largest concentrations found in states like Texas, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. These states are the heart of American cattle farming, thanks to their vast open lands and favorable climates. The cattle industry has deep roots in Texas, dating back more than 300 years. Texas' large grasslands and warm climate provide the ideal environment for raising cattle, and it's no surprise that herds have thrived here for centuries. Currently, there are over 70 different breeds of cattle in the United States, each suited to different environments and purposes. Some of the most popular breeds include the Beefmaster, known for its strength and productivity, the Texas Longhorn, a symbol of the state's heritage, the Hereford, prized for its excellent meat quality, and the Angus, a favorite for tender, flavorful beef. We'll dive into the process of how these cattle are raised, the challenges ranchers face, and the innovations happening in the industry. Stay tuned as we learn more about one of the most important sectors of American agriculture. The Angus breed is indeed one of the most common and recognizable cattle breeds in Texas and across much of the United States. It's known for its high-quality beef, especially prized for marbling and tenderness, making it the favorite among both ranchers and consumers. Every year, around 35.8 million calves are born in the United States, and a significant portion of those, up to 11 million, are born right here in Texas at birth. These calves typically weigh between 60 to 80 pounds, depending on factors like breed and the health of the mother. For many ranchers in Texas, the process of raising calves begins with them living alongside their mothers for the first few months. This is a critical bonding period, where the calves nurse and grow strong. Typically, calves will stay with their mothers for about 3 months before being weaned, which usually occurs at around 1 to 3 months of age. The weaning process can sometimes be a bit stressful for both the calves and mothers, as they adjust to being separated. One essential part of the ranching process is branding. Branding is more than just a tradition, it's a practical and crucial tool for identifying cattle. Since ranchers often have large herds, branding helps ensure that each animal can be identified if it gets lost or strays into another herd. In Texas, it's common for cattle to be branded with the ranch's unique logo or symbol, typically burned into the skin with a heated iron. The practice helps prevent theft and confusion, especially in areas with large, open pastures where herds can mix. Grazing in the pastures of Texas is a timeless tradition that has been passed down through generations. Many ranchers today still use cattle branding in the traditional way, just as it was done back in the 1800s. Branding remains a key part of the history of cattle ranching in Texas, tying the practice to the state's heritage of large-scale ranching and open-range grazing. The brand itself is often a symbol of the rancher's family, legacy, or ranching operation, making it a mark of both ownership and identity. When it comes to maturity and readiness for market, most cattle in Texas are considered fully mature and ready for meat consumption when they reach 2 to 3 years of age. At this point, they've typically reached an optimal weight and muscle development, which results in the high-quality beef that Texas is so famous for. Each day, cowboys, the skilled ranch hands who manage the cattle, play an important role in the daily routine of ranching. In the mornings, they release the cattle to the vast grasslands so that the herds can graze freely. These grasslands are rich with vegetation, providing the cattle with ample food to sustain them as they roam and feed. Grazing freely in open pastures is a natural behavior for cattle, and it allows them to grow strong while enjoying a diet of grasses and other plants. This system of free-range grazing is essential to cattle ranching in Texas, as it helps ensure that the animals remain healthy, while also allowing ranchers to maintain the land and cattle in a sustainable way. The relationship between the rancher, the cowboy, and the land has shaped Texas cattle ranching into the iconic industry it is today. As of 2020, the United States boasts approximately 614 million acres of land used for cattle grazing. Of that vast expanse, The state of Texas alone accounts for about 130 million acres, making up about 21% of the entire country's grazing land. This huge area is one of the reasons why Texas is often referred to as the heart of American cattle ranching. On January 1, 2022, the United States Department of Agriculture (USDA) reported that the total number of cattle in the country was about 91.9 million head. This massive herd is spread across the nation, with Texas being home to a significant portion of that number. These cattle graze on the natural grasslands, but in many cases, ranchers supplement their diet with other feeds to improve the quality of the beef they produce. In addition to grazing freely on the rich grasses of the Texas prairies, millions of cattle are also fed corn and grain, a practice known as grain finishing. This feeding strategy is commonly used in the later stages of a cow's life and plays a key role in enhancing the marbling and overall quality of the meat. The diet of corn and grain helps cattle gain weight more quickly and results in tender, flavorful beef with better fat distribution, which is highly prized by consumers, especially in premium cuts. While grazing is still the primary food source for cattle in Texas, the use of supplemental feeds such as corn and grain has become more widespread, especially for those cattle destined for the beef market. This combination of traditional grazing and modern feeding techniques allows ranchers to maintain a high standards of beef quality that Texas is known for, while also supporting a growing cattle industry that plays a major role in the state's economy and culture. The amount of corn and grain consumed by cattle in the United States is truly staggering. It's reported that the total amount of feed used could feed 800 million people each year. This highlights just how significant the agricultural practices tied to cattle production are in terms of resource use. While it helps provide high-quality beef for the U.S. in the daily rhythm of ranch life, cowboys play a vital role in keeping the cattle safe. As night falls, thousands of cattle are driven back to the ranches to rest and avoid predators like coyotes or other wildlife. The safety of the herd is paramount, especially as they're gathered in secure areas where they can sleep and recuperate, ready for another day of grazing. When the cattle reach maturity and are eligible for harvest, the journey from grazing land to beef processing plants begins. In 2020, approximately 33.3 million cattle were slaughtered in the United States, leading to a total meat production of about 27.3 billion pounds. This massive supply helps meet both domestic demand and international exports, fueling a significant portion of the global beef market. Now, let's shift focus. In the next segment of the video, we'll travel to Australia, which also plays a crucial role in the global cattle industry. In Australia, cattle farms export about 1.3 million head of cattle annually, with 80% of those exports being shipped to China. This is a vital part of Australia's beef production, which is highly sought after worldwide for its quality. We'll take a closer look at the process of how these cattle are raised, handled, and shipped, showing how the global beef trade connects ranches from Texas to Australia, and how countries like China play a significant role in the demand for beef. In Australia, helicopters are commonly used by herders to help drive thousands of cattle back to the gathering areas, an essential part of managing large herds in expansive open spaces. The helicopters allow ranchers to efficiently round up the cattle, ensuring they're safely moved without the risk of injury or lost animals. This is just one of the many modern tools that make large-scale cattle operations possible. Once the cattle are rounded up, they are transported by truck to the port, where the next step in the process begins. At the harbor, the cattle are carefully loaded onto ships for their journey overseas. Australia is one of the world's largest exporters of live cattle, and these shipments play a vital role in the global beef industry, especially in countries like China, where demand for beef is high. Now, let's move to a different aspect of the cattle industry: dairy farming. Today, we're heading to the dairy farms in the states of California and Texas to see how the process of caring for thousands of dairy cows and harvesting billions of pounds of milk takes place. The United States is the fourth largest country in the world in terms of dairy cows, with approximately 9.4 million dairy cows. These cows produce around 220 billion pounds of milk annually, making the U.S. a major player in global dairy production. After birth, calves are typically separated from their mother cows to ensure the milk can be harvested for human consumption. In many cases, workers on dairy farms act as the mother for the calves, providing care and feeding them until they are old enough to start drinking milk replacer. According to USDA statistics, each year, around 8 million calves are born in the U.S. dairy industry. Unfortunately, about 500,000 calves die soon after birth, often due to complications or birth defects. Additionally, 450,000 dairy cows may die during the lactation process due to health issues or age. Health problems in calves are addressed immediately, and any calves with medical needs are isolated and provided special care. For the first month of life, calves are usually kept indoors to protect them from the elements and ensure their health is closely monitored. This indoor care is part of the overall management system that helps ensure the calves grow strong and healthy, ready to enter the dairy herd when they are old enough. The U.S. dairy industry is a carefully managed operation, balancing the needs of the cows, the calves, and the workers to ensure the milk production process runs smoothly. In the next part of the video, we'll dive deeper into the daily routines on a dairy farm, showing the processes that keep the milk supply flowing and how these farms are contributing to both local economies and the global food supply. The U.S. dairy industry is a carefully managed operation, balancing the needs of the cows, the calves, and the workers to ensure the milk production process runs smoothly. In the next part of the video, we'll dive deeper into the daily routines on a dairy farm. In this segment, we've seen just how much goes into the care of dairy cows and the massive scale of milk production in the United States. On the farm, dairy cows are fed twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, to ensure they have the energy and nutrients needed to produce milk. Interestingly, many dairy farms go above and beyond just feeding their cows. For instance, some farms also massage their cows to help them relax and stay in the best possible condition. This not only improves the cow's overall health but also has a positive impact on their ability to produce milk. When it comes to keeping things clean, cow dung is removed using automated machinery. While it may not be the most pleasant part of the process to watch, it's essential for maintaining a clean environment, which is crucial for the cow's health and well-being. The machinery helps ensure that the barns and milking areas stay hygienic, preventing diseases and ensuring the milk produced remains safe for consumers. In the U.S., the average dairy cow produces more than 7.5 gallons of milk per day. If cows were only producing milk for their calves, they would produce just about a gallon per day. This difference highlights the immense scale of the dairy industry and how much cows are bred and cared for to produce large quantities of milk. When it comes time to milk cows in large quantities, farms employ high-tech systems and equipment where hundreds of cows are brought into specialized milking facilities. The process is streamlined, and the cows stand in neat rows, almost like spectators in a football stadium, awaiting their turn. Once the milking process is complete, thousands of gallons of cow's milk are sent to processing plants or cheese factories, where they are turned into products like milk, cheese, yogurt, and other dairy items. In 2020, the U.S. produced around 13.25 billion pounds of cheese, with states like Wisconsin and California leading the way. Wisconsin, in particular, produced around 3.36 billion pounds of cheese, while California came in second with 2.5 billion pounds. As we wrap up this look into the world of dairy cow care and cheese production, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the care given to dairy cows and the incredible processes behind milk and cheese production? Let us know in the comments section below, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.